Hi! So, I'm here to record my second YouTube video on this channel. And while searching for topics for this thing, I was like, I don't know what I know a lot about. What's something that blends all my interests together in one thing? And then I came across a video by this YouTuber, and it was basically, they ranked all of the Little Nightmares villains. And I was like, that's something that I know a lot about. So Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2 are puzzle platformer like horror games made by Tarsier Studios. I really hope I'm saying that right. Little Nightmares 1 follows the main character named Six, presumably named Six because like the sixth deadly sin is gluttony and Six is really hungry all the time. You eat a rat at one point. Follows Six as she tries to escape the Maw, which is this huge ship that basically cooks children and feeds them to guests for funsies. They also have a DLC for Little Nightmares 1, but I hate it so much. I hate it. We're not going to talk about it. Actually, here, let me just... There we go. And Little Nightmares 2 is another game by Tarsier Studios set in the same universe as Little Nightmares 1. I think it's technically a prequel where you follow the main character Mono as Mono navigates through the Pale City, which is basically this city that's been turned weird by the signal tower that sends out signals to a bunch of TVs and has turned the citizens all creepy and glitchy and things, and there's a bunch of little enemies that you have to fight along the way. I am a big fan of both of these games. I would highly recommend that you play them if you haven't already. There's going to be definitely spoilers in this tier list, so stop right now. If you haven't played them, go play them. They're worth it, and then come back and see my opinions after. Let's get into the ranking. So the categories we have are, number 1, we have Best Lads. These are my favorites out of all the games. I love them to pieces. Second tier, we have Cool but Not Quite There, and that is like, they're nice, but they don't quite. And third is I Understand It. They're ones where like, I get why they're there. They weren't like great, but like I understand why they're there, but like, meh. Fourth category is Who, which is basically just like, who are they? Don't remember, irrelevant basically. And then the final tier is the DLC. And we just pretend that the DLC characters are in there. There we go. Tier list explained. Let's start ranking them. So the first enemy that you ever encounter in the entire world of Little Nightmares 1, Little Nightmares 2, the DLC, are the leeches. Now the leeches, believe it or not, they are leeches. And they exist in the prison section of the Maw. So they're pretty boring. Basically the idea is that if you get too close to them, they just like wrap around you, give you a little squish, and you die, right? There's the one section where you fall through the floor and you have to like fall into their like slime and you have to like weave through all the little leeches, and that part's kind of like, that was suspenseful. That was scary the first time I played it. Ooh boy, frightening. But overall, they're pretty standard, pretty boring. Not much to report there. But you know what? Where are they? There we go. You know what? I understand it. You know, like they're the first thing that you fight. They're not gonna be like super exciting. They're just kind of, they exist, and that's cool. So the second enemy that you face in Little Nightmares, after you beat the leeches, after you leave the prison, you get into the janitor's quarters, and you meet the janitor, or as we know him, Roger Dodger. So Roger is a father. Roger looks after all the kids in the Maw, and eventually, you know, like wraps them up. Possibly kills them, wraps them into sheets of paper, and sends them off to the chefs to be eaten. Roger just wants the best for people, and also when he kills you, you can hear your spine like snapping. He just wants what's best for the children. He's got the big long arms, so he'll just like, you do eventually kill Roger. You just like, you chop his arms off, and it's great. Personally, maybe this is just me, but I love Roger. Roger did nothing wrong. So the third thing in Little Nightmares that you have to come across are the chefs. So the chefs, they are twins, and they exist in the kitchens, and basically what they do is they get dead children from Roger and they cook them. Personally, I think that's cool. They're career people, you know, they're just having a good time at their workplace. They're pretty easy to get away from. I don't know, you can like, I'll show a clip probably, but you can just kind of like run past and like slide under things and they just like won't notice you. I think their level is scary because of the like meat imagery mostly. Like you just, oh, it's gross, it's icky. I do like This is going to be a reoccurring theme with a lot of these, but I do like the chase scene at the end. I think that was cool. That got my heart pounding. Are they as nice as Roger? No. Are they as frightening as Roger? No, because you can get away from them super easy. But we still like them. Let's go, twins. Once you get away from the chefs by just like climbing on a thing, you get to the guest area. Okay, Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2, all the Little Nightmares games really, they're like pretty visually stunning at parts. But the guest area specifically, especially when you're getting there, you get some of the like most gorgeous visuals ever. So the guest area does have a little bit of pretty privilege from me. It's not super challenging and it's not super long. And the guests are all like, they just like chase you and eat you, you know, kind of thing. As they're now eating your friends who have been cared for, then murdered by Roger, then sent to the chefs, then cooked, and now the guests are eating them. But I think it's a really gorgeous section. Visually pleasing. And because of that, I think I'm gonna rank them a little bit higher than they deserve. Pretty privilege saves them from the I understand it category and puts them into the cool but not quite there category, I think. The final thing that you get to fight, this is the only one that you actually kind of get to fight in Little Nightmares 1, is the lady. So the lady, from the first time you see her, which is technically like the very first thing you ever see in the game, is it opens and you get the shot of the lady like, what? That's basically what it was. Anyway, from the first time you see her, you're like, oh, final boss energy, you know? And then when you see her again in the guest area, you're like, whoa, the lady can sing. The lady kills you in a really, really cool way. The lady's quarters are gorgeous. Her like bedroom kind of area where she lives, stunning, also beautiful. Did I mention she's good at singing? That's cool. And I love how you kill her at the end, which is om nom nom. Om nom 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 nom. You eat her. Yeah. So the lady, for me, the lady is instantly at the best lads category because she's iconic and stunning and amazing. I forgot! Oh, no. There's another one. So there's kind of like an in-between monster that we're gonna rank anyway, and that's the shoe monster, which exists in Roger's section for a second. It just like, you never see it. It just lives in the shoes and it just kind of like comes after you like, ooh, there's something in the shoes. And I don't know what happens if it kills you. It literally didn't kill me at all the first time I played it through, and I haven't let it kill me since, just out of spite. So we're putting the shoe monster in the who category. So that's all the Little Nightmares 1 monsters I think that I've ranked. So let's get on to the spooky scaries of Little Nightmares 2. So Little Nightmares 2 starts with Mono, the main character, waking up in a forest. Forests and greenery are a deviant aesthetic in the world of Little Nightmares. You don't often see a lot of greenery, and I think that's really cool. And the like spooky scary thing that inhabits the greenery is named the Hunter. So the Hunter obviously is a hunter, lives out in the wilderness, carries a gun, you know. And if you do something bad, if you mess up, the Hunter shoots you and you're just, boom, dead like that. There's not much else to report. That's the only notes I have. I have deviant aesthetic and then I wrote boom, boom, pow for like the gun. You know, I don't really think there's a lot of like interesting qualities about the Hunter beyond that. It reintroduces you into the world of Little Nightmares, what you're doing. You also meet your companion 6 in this section, which I think is nice. Sorry, we're talking about the villains now, aren't we? Hunter, yeah, has never really struck me as like incredible and iconic, but I understand it. You know what, Hunter? I understand you. I understand. Oh! Hunter also gets points because you do get to kill them. And obviously you get extra points if you actually get to be completely responsible for the deaths of your enemies. So after you defeat the Hunter, you hop on a little like boat raft thing and you head over and you reach the Pale City. And once you enter the Pale City, where the signal tower is located, the first building that you enter is a school. And in the school, there are students and there's the teacher. And the teacher is the main antagonist of the area. The teacher's special little ability is to have a super long neck. Kind of goes like, woo! And she eats you. She bites you. She's like, ow. I'm a big fan of the teacher personally. First of all, musical skills, as seen in the piano scene, and obviously with the lady we've already seen how musical skills get you ahead. That gets the teacher a point in my book. Also, the final chase is horrible. It was literally so just uncomfortable and terrifying. The final chase scene of the teachers. Oh boy, it's frightening. Yeah, that definitely puts her ahead. Kind of a parallel to Roger, while being less cool. Like, they both have the extended arms or like neck, and they both like care for children, be it not well. But the teacher just, I don't know, doesn't really hit the same. I still vibe with it. Still vibe with her. She's so cool. And then the students in the section are like little reanimated porcelain dolls, which I think it's cool. They are cool. They're neat. They definitely take up space. Are they visually stunning? Not really. Are they kind of annoying at sections? Yes, definitely. Especially the hallway scene when you have to get your timing right. But you do get to be completely responsible for their deaths, which is great. You, in this level, you get like a hammer and you just get to go like smash, 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 you know? And I think that's great. Just like hit him, fight him, dead, 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 dead. Yeah. So I'd say with the students, what did I say before? I understand it. Yeah, I do. I understand the students. I think they're definitely there. Definitely there for a reason. They do their job fine. Okay, so after you escape the school, oh boy, you meander along in this spooky city and you finally reach the hospital. So the hospital is kind of interesting. The hospital, like the school, has kind of two rankable enemies type thing. Again, it's like a main person and then their creation. So in this case, it's a doctor and then the patients. But unlike the school, where the teacher definitely takes the spotlight over the students, I think the patients definitely take the spotlight over the doctor. So the patients, oh my gosh, they are terrifying. You have to like shine a flashlight on them or like have some sort of light source on them all the time, or they move and they come and attack you. Sometimes they don't though. So you just kind of like hope that the one that you're near isn't one that's gonna like come and get you. They're in the dark as well. Obviously it's a hospital, which is like already creepy, abandoned hospital type thing. They frighten me quite a bit. I love the scene where your Mono takes a jog down the hallway and then they like pop out of the sides. That's crazy. Patients definitely get to be in the cool but not quite there category. They don't have the wow factor. They don't have the star factor of Roger and the lady, but they're definitely cooler than the doctor. So the doctor obviously made the patients, runs around on the ceiling as well. What's up with that? I couldn't tell you, but that makes them unique, is they run around on the ceiling and they reach down and grab ya. I like that you get to be directly responsible for his death. You trap him in the incinerator and you just go like whoop, and then you go, well, Six sits down and like warms her hands by the fire, which I think is great. That is excellent. Yeah, but the kids are cooler. I'm gonna put the doctor in the who category, because do I ever have thoughts about the doctor ever? No, it's always about the patients. When you think hospital, I'm like, oh my gosh, the patients were so scary. I'm never like, oh yeah, the doctor was pretty neat. No, whatever. Who? Moving on. So once you beat the hospital, you are back out in the streets of the Pale City and you come across the citizens. So the citizens of the Pale City are very much obsessed with their TVs. They will like fall off buildings trying to chase the TVs, you know? They always want to look at the static. I like the way that they kill you when they catch you. They kind of just like scream at you until you die, which I think is great. I think that's wonderful. That's a choice for sure. Their level also has some pretty privilege. Like it's really gorgeous. The whole of Little Nightmares 2 is honestly really, really visually stunning. But especially the section where you're just wandering through the Pale City with the citizens of it. It just, wow, blows me away completely and utterly. So with the pretty privilege point, they move from the Who section, because honestly, do they really do much? Not really. They're kind of irrelevant. I like the screaming thing, but other than that, I don't really think about them much. So they move from the Who section to the I Understand It section because of the pretty privilege point. So after, well, kind of not after the citizens, but throughout the game, in every single section, Mono presses his hands up against the TV, and there's kind of like a scene where you're running towards a door, etc., etc. Turns out at the end of the door, there is the Thin Man, who is the main antagonist, or supposedly the main antagonist for Little Nightmares 2. So the Thin Man, I think, controls like the signal tower, which is controlling the TVs, which is presumably making the whole area all messed up. I loved the Thin Man. I think it's because, part of the reason is because the Thin Man sections take place in slow motion, which is just terrifying for some reason. Like, if you mess up, you see your mistake happen, like, so slowly. It's really frightening. I really liked it. I also like the aesthetics of the Thin Man. I think that's pretty cool. Thin Man also steals 6 from you. Goes like, whoop, 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 and then 6 is like, wah. Basically is what happens. And that's also threatening. And then finally, in the final battle against the Thin Man, I don't know, this was kind of underwhelming for me. I feel like I did this, like, well the first time that I ever played through the game, which I wasn't really expecting. Like, I figured with a, like, kind of a boss battle, it would have been harder, so it was kind of underwhelming. The aesthetics of it were great, though. It was gorgeous. Lovely fight to watch. But yeah, it wasn't entirely... It was kind of a forgettable fight. He just kind of evaporates at the end. We're not going to tier rank him now, though. We're going to get to the next antagonist first, and then we'll rank them together. So at the end of Little Nightmares 2, you've defeated the Signal Man, basically. Signal Man? You defeated the Thin Man. Thin Man kind of evaporates. You rush forward, you get to the signal tower, because guess what? 6 is still missing. So 6 is your friend throughout the game. 6 gets her famous raincoat in this game. 6 and Mono perform several of their, like, death-defying catches throughout Little Nightmares 2. 6 is your buddy. 6 is your buddy. Except now, at the end of the game, 6 is not your buddy, because 6 has turned into Giant Monster 6 and is now protective of this crazy music box. So you wander into the signal tower. There's a bunch of, like, pink doorways. You gotta follow the music. I thought that was lovely. You follow the music through the signal tower until you get to 6, and then basically what you have to do is you get stuck in this kind of, like, time loopy thing, and you have to, like, take an axe to the music box over and over and over again until you get 6 back. I thought this was a really cool section. It wasn't expected because the Thin Man was kind of hyped up to be the, like, main villain of the game. So getting 6 at the end to, like, be your enemy was really, really interesting, I thought. So once you save 6, like, save her, you kill the music box, 6 turns back to normal size, the signal tower gets kind of mad at you, and it turns into this giant, fleshy, horrific thing that then chases you and 6 through the signal tower as it collapses. So finally, you and 6 is ahead of you, 6 is ahead of you by the little, like, portal door that you need to get through, and you go as you would to perform another one of your little catchies that you've done a billion times before. Except 6 drops you! 6 drops Mono at the end. That's what happens. 6 drops Mono and 6 leaves, which I think, oh my gosh, I had it spoiled for me and it still hurt watching it happen. It was really brutal. I was not a fan of that at all. But because of Little Nightmares 1, I still feel like I can't hate her, and it was a great twist. So we are ranking 6. We are ranking 6 right up the top. Yes, we are. So Mono at the end of Little Nightmares 2, Mono falls. Mono gets stuck in this horrible, fleshy thing with eyes because of 6. And then we get this lovely little scene, little time-lapsey moment that shows Mono getting older and basically reveals that Mono was the Thin Man the whole time. And I love that. For that reason, Thin Man, you're redeemed from your final boss fight and you get to go at the top with everybody else. I loved that. That was even cooler than the, like, dropping moment. Okay, so that is all of the Little Nightmares characters ranked. That's my final tier list. I hope you appreciated watching. I spent a lot of time on this video, actually. You might think, oh, a tier list video, it's pretty easy, but I made it difficult. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Especially commenting boosts me in the algorithm, gets me to more people. So if you want to support me, that would be great. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I love both Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2. I'm obsessed with the universe. I think it's great. Both games I would highly recommend, even though I just kind of, like, spoiled them for you. If you haven't played it before, you should just go do it now. That's about all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Roger is a father. Roger. Father, Roger.